And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig here with you. We are so glad that you were able to join us today. We have a great show lined up. We are going to do what we always do, hop into the scoreboard, talk about the games that went on last night inside boys and girls basketball. We'll talk about the finals and the big stars that shined the best on the floor that night. And then, of course, we will go into our player profile section of the show. We have a good one for you today. Mariana Toscano, senior from Springfield. We will feature her player profile on today's episode. And then we will, of course, preview the things that we have going on tonight as well. So, got a lot to do. Got a lot to do on a Tuesday. Let's get to it. Let's go to the scoreboard on ysnlive.com. And we will pop it up. The YSN scoreboard is brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood at Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. And it is a great tool for our fans, whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen or action for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live, updated scores of your favorite teams across the YSN family. The YSN scoreboard can be found at ysnlive.com/scores, and it is once again proudly presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. So here we go, Monday, January 6, 2025. We'll start with boys basketball inside the MVAC. How about a big upset in McDonald? Jackson Milton goes to town and gets a big win over the Blue Devils in dominating fashion in reality. 63-49. 63-48, the final score there. What a big win for the Blue Jays on the road. We go into the MVAC even more. We see that Brookfield fell to Southeast 58-47 final score in that one. Campbell Memorial went to Middle Ridge, got a pretty good fight from the Rams. In fact, a little bit more of a balanced offense from Middle Ridge. They had a couple more players in double figures than Campbell did. But when you have Sway Rodriguez scoring 28, I believe, you're in good company. You're in good shape. Campbell gets a fight from Middle Ridge, but does enough to get the win. Final score there was 58-51. Red Devils get the win over Ridge. In Champion, I should say in Crestview over Champion, the Rebels had to come back from a halftime deficit, but they eventually find their way to a 77-62 win. A 15-point win when you're trailing at halftime. That's a pretty good halftime adjustment there for the Rebels and a big win for them inside the conference, getting momentum for the rest of conference play. We go into LeBray and Liberty. This game was postponed, unfortunately, due to some weather that was happening yesterday. If you weren't around yesterday or maybe living under a rock, I don't know. We had quite a bit of snow yesterday. There weren't as many games postponed as you'd think with the kind of snowfall that we had, but there were some games that just could not avoid being postponed. LeBray and Liberty were one of them. We have not received a rescheduled date for that one as of yet, but it is a conference game, so you know it will definitely be rescheduled. Newton Falls, they go on the road at Garrettsville Garfield. The G-Men get the 10-point victory, protecting that home gray court in Garfield. What a great win for the G-Men. Springfield bounces back from the loss at South Range over the weekend. They beat Waterloo 46-40, and Carson Cunningham, a huge reason why he had 27 points in the Tigers win. Big day for him. You can find post-game interviews with Carson Cunningham and head coach Brink on ysnlive.com and on our YouTube page. Make sure to go check those out. Noah Doty doing a good job at Springfield. Western Reserve goes to Sebring. They get the win 63-22. The final score there, road victory for the Blue Devils. And then last but not least, in boys basketball, Hickory gets the win over East. Pretty competitive game, but Hickory gets to win 74-67, the final over in PA. We go into girls basketball. First one on tap. Grand Valley goes to Bristol, gets the 40-25 win. The Mustangs, strong win for them. Heartland Christian goes to Richmond Edison. Edison gets the win in that one, 54-36. That ends a little bit of a winning streak for the Lions, but they'll still have a lot to look forward to the rest of their week, of course. Orange hosting East Tech and gets the big win, 63-13. That's 2 in a row for the Lions now. Lisbon and Southern Local playing battle in Lisbon, and Southern gets the win, 40-21. Big day for Alyssa Schroeds for the Indians. And a big defensive day when you hold the team to 21 points. That is impressive. East gets the win over Lowville, 39-29 final score there. Mohawk gets the victory over Beaver Falls, 65-31 the final score in that one. Pymatuning Valley, they go to St. John, and they do get the win there. This score was reported a little bit late. We finally got a hold of Michael Cole. They were having problems with the stream, the huddle stream there, so we weren't able to get that live score for you. But it was a 63-27 win for the Lakers over Ashley Beulah St. John in that one. Wellsville East Palestine postponed to January 14th, and that will be a boys-girls doubleheader in East Palestine on that day. So look forward to that. Unfortunately, they could not play last night due to weather. South Range gets a big conference win over Hubbard, who was coming off the big win over Lakeview in their last time out in the conference. So the Raiders stop Hubbard from getting back-to-back big wins in the conference. 44-26, the final score in that one. Poland and Lakeview was postponed. They're going to stay atop of the NE8 tied up with whoever won, Struthers and Girard. And you go over there and you see that Girard was able to hold off the Wildcats 43-39, the final score. A big play late, tied at 37. Steal and fast break layup by Ali Gassman. She had a big day. The three-headed monster for Girard and Gassman and Wilkes and Moit all were in double figures. No shocker there for the Indians. And they had, a 10-point lead in the first half, and they felt pretty comfortable. But Struthers kept chipping away. Eventually tied the game late. It got a little bit, dicey towards the end of the game. And then Girard, the one able to make the plays down the stretch to get the win. So that is a win for Girard that puts them tied with Poland and Lakeview at the top of the conference, all with one loss. Struthers falls down to 2 losses in the conference, right there with South Range in striking distance. They'll have a chance to play Girard again later on the season in the Fieldhouse. Remember, both those teams last week, Struthers and Hubbard, we're talking about this NE8 stretch of the 2 NE8 games that happened last night. They both were coming off big upsets that kind of knotted up and put a logjam at the top of the NE8. Hubbard beats Lakeview, Struthers beats Poland. So they both were coming in very hot off of upsets. But good job for South Range and Girard to cool off the Jets a little bit and stay in their spot in the NE8. Canfield welcomes in Norton, and it's 31-20. A defensive battle. No shocker there for Canfield. If you get into a defensive battle for them, they are more than up for the task. They hold Norton to 20 points and get the win 31-20 at home. East Liverpool and Indian Creek was postponed last night. They will play on the 8th, which of course is tomorrow. Conneaut is able to hold off Harvey. 2 wins in a row for the Spartans. 49-27, the final score there. West Branch and Howland was moved to February 10th. So that one was postponed last night due to weather. JFK was in a back-and-forth battle. This was a 10-point game at halftime between them and Jefferson. But like it is most nights, the offense for JFK just ended up being too much, and they got a 62-42 win over Jefferson. Kirtland gets the win over Lakeside, 56-34, final score there. How about Maplewood bouncing back from the loss on Friday to JFK? They get back to league play. They beat Shocker pretty handedly, 52-18. Cheney going on the road against Warren Harding. That game was postponed. It will be played on January 13th. between Cheney and Warren Harding. You have Harrison Central and Beaver Local. That game was also postponed. It's going to be moved to January 27th. January 27th, Harrison and Beaver Local. Latonia goes to Valley Christian. That game got postponed. We have not received a make-up date for that one as of yet. Columbiana beats United by the final score of 58-5. That is I think, releasing of the demons for Columbiana. They obviously split the league with United and Southern last year, trying to make a statement this year, and oof, did they ever. 58-5. That was a United team, just to kind of put in the gap right now between Columbiana and the EOAC right now this year. That was a United team that came in undefeated in the EOAC at 4-0. So they'd won all their other conference games to that point. Columbiana is a different monster this year. Beaver goes to Central Valley. They had to play at Central Valley Middle School, but they still got the win, and the final score was 56-39. The final score. Bobcats still on a roll over in PA. So that is the scoreboard. Let's talk about the game I was at a little bit more for you. Girard and Struthers, I was there. I can talk about it in a little bit more depth because I obviously witnessed it firsthand. 43-39, the score for Girard getting the win. I'll take that on the scoreboard. You don't need that anymore. We'll just see my face as we talk about this game. Then we'll go to a commercial break and get the player profile for today. But you go and look at Struthers and Girard, and Girard had coming off of a stretch where they were off for 10 days, I think. I think the total, they were off for a while. They hadn't played since December 28th. So they were kind of a little bit of a break. I was talking to Coach Bornemus before the game. He was real pleased with the timing of the break because there were a couple of players on Girard that were healthy enough to play but weren't 100%. So they kind of got healthy and back into basketball shape. He felt like they were much closer to 100% on the health side going into this game against Struthers. One of the things that he really wanted to combat was the size of Struthers. They're a bigger team. They got Gianna Martin down low. Caitlin Kimball is bigger for a guard. Even Ava Croyle, that's some size there. So it's a big team that's hard to match up with. So Girard was really worried about their size. But you look at this game, you look at the numbers, and I'll tell you what. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you look at the feel. You can just watch and feel. Girard really out-rebounded Struthers by a sizable margin. And that was a big, I think, emphasis probably for Coach Bornemus coming into that game. Like, we have to have good fundamental rebounding because if you're undersized, you can still get rebounds by getting good positioning and just working harder than the other person. And that happened a lot, where Girard was just in the right spot to get rebounds. Granted, there were a couple of long rebounds that just were turned into 50-50 balls that Girard was able to run down. Those are 50-50 balls for a reason. They can go either way any night. So Girard got those. But there were also just plenty of offensive rebounds, and they were able to just use their toughness in positioning to get. Brooke Perry did a really good job rebounding. I think she goes underappreciated because she doesn't score a ton. But her ability to, one, protect the rim on defense. There were plenty of blocks that Brooke Perry was able to get, but also her rebounding ability, very strong. And I think that's an unsung, underappreciated, unsung virtue of Girard right now, the way they're playing. Just one loss in the conference. It was to Poland. They'll have them again later on this year. They'll have to go to Poland, and they'll have to, if things keep shaping out, they'll have to win that game to have a spot in the conference. But you look at Girard right now, the way they're set up, I think they're actually, they're sitting pretty in the 88. They have the really scary triple threat on offense that I don't think anyone else in the conference really has. 3 consistent double figure scorers that they can go to every night that they can depend on. These girls are going to get double figures. I think all of them are averaging double figures. I can actually check on that. Let me go into Girard's stats. Why not? We have the time, right? It's 1:15. But I'm pretty sure that all 3 of them are averaging double figures. Maybe not Mackenzie White because she had to miss a couple of games here and there with a couple of injuries that she's been dealing with. But I know that Kaylee Wilkes and Allie Gaspin are definitely averaging double figures. Allie Gaspin's averaging 12.5 points a game. Kaylee Wilkes is averaging 14 points a game. And then Mackenzie White is averaging 9.7, so just under double figures for her. But remember, she did miss a couple of games here and there with dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury, nothing serious, just something that was kind of just nagging a little bit. That once again, Coach Bornemus says back to being full strength with that week off that they had between holiday breaks. So when you have three players that all average double figures, and they all kind of have different kind of ways of scoring. Mackenzie White, she's got that mid-range pop, and she's more there in the paint threat. Allie Gaspin can drive, and then Kaylee Wilkes is more of the shooter. So they have a lot of weapons to stop you, and I think that's why Girard looking pretty good. I like the way they look. Now Poland took care of business when they came into Girard. That's a big win for the Bulldogs to go into Girard and get the win, because now Poland, if it comes down between those two, which is not set in stone because Lakeview has something to say about that, but if it comes down to those two, you have to go to Poland to get that win. And despite Struthers getting the win there this year on Saturday, that is still a very tough place for any 8 teams to go and win. There's been now one any 8 team in 7 years to win inside that gym in conference play, and that was Struthers on Saturday. So Girard's never done it. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to. I think they're going to have to go into Poland and win. I don't think when they go into that game later on in the season, I don't think it's going to be a situation where that's not going to be a game they have to win the conference. I think even if it's, they both have 2 losses by then, which is possible the way the NE8's going right now. I have a very hard time picturing by the time we get to that game where that game isn't one that will decide the fate of the NE8 one way or another, whether it be tying it up with someone else like Lakeview, whether it be winning it outright. But that game's going to have a lot of impact, and you're going to have to go into Poland and get a win. So that's the big thing for the Bulldogs on their side of this conversation. But on Girard's side, I think that 3-headed monster being healthy, with Mackenzie White 100% now, all of them averaging double figures, I think, by the time the season's over. No one else in the conference has that. Especially, now with Poland maybe going to be without Eliana Thompson, we don't know. She didn't play in that Struthers game, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. That could be a big loss for Poland. You never know. But Lakeview with Max Stowe and Sophie Irwin, but what's that third one? Sometimes it's Annabelle Humphrey, sometimes it's Calissa Warner. They're definitely a little bit less consistent on that third player that's going to be in double figures, but they have multiple people that can hurt you. South Range has, I think, 2 that can go in double figures any given night pretty consistently, and Gwen Lowry and Taylor Dado and Sophia Lucente there as well. But then you look at Struthers, and they're going to be a team that can really cause some havoc now with Ava Croyle and Caitlin Kimball and Natalie Wallachau. I mean, those 4 teams all have legitimate stakes in the conference. Struthers is not out of it by any means. They helped themselves a lot by beating Poland on Saturday. They still only have 2 losses in the conference, so they are behind the 8 ball a little bit, but they're right there with matchups with all those teams still left. Same thing with South Range. They're 2 losses down, so they're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but they have matchups with Poland still, 2 of them. They go to Poland on Thursday. They still have 1 matchup with Lakeview, 1 matchup with Girard left, so everything's still in front of South Range too. I like the way this NE8's shaping up. And Hubbard proved last week that they are a team that can throw a monkey wrench into anybody's season. They kind of knocked out Lakeview, and for the moment, for those 2 days before the Struthers Poland game, put Poland ahead in the NE8 all alone. So Hubbard is definitely a team that has the pieces to throw a monkey wrench into this conference as well. So does Niles, by the way. I don't want to leave the Dragons out, even though we haven't talked about them because they didn't play last night in conference play. Niles has the pieces to really push people. I mean, Poland won by 10. And when you look at the past Niles games against Poland or any of the top of the NE8, it wasn't 10 points. It was more like 30 points, right? So Niles is making strides, and they have the players. They have Carrington Stanford, who's coming off of a great freshman year. Now as a sophomore, Maddie Yost. They have a lot of players, and then they have oh geez, don't blank on the name, man. Don't do it to me. Oh, I have to look it up. Then I have to look up that last name. But there is one in my mind that I'm like that girl's a matchup problem for people. I'll get it. Hold on. Welcome to Running Point. This is where we get. This is how we go. Right. Let's go to Niles. Who am I missing? Oh, Hannah Grimm. Hannah, I want to make sure you get your shout out there. Sorry your name didn't pop up in the top of my head, but we got you. You're a matchup problem every single day. And I think Niles is a team, especially when we get into the second half of the year when they're starting to really hit their stride. They can throw a monkey wrench into anybody's conference hopes as well. So got to watch out for the Dragons. It's a very much more interesting NE8 than it has been in years past this year. And I think they're proving that with what we are seeing right now, especially the last 5 days, right? So we're going to continue to see that all year. We're going to have a fun NE8 game, NE8 week ahead on Thursday. Got a lot of fun matchups there. Lakeview Girard, that'll be important, right? South Range Poland, that's always the big rivalry between those two. So a fun Thursday coming up in the NE8 as well. But we have a whole day to talk about before that, a whole 2 days actually to talk about before that. We will get into what's going on tonight inside boys and girls basketball in a little bit. But first, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have the player profile featured today. It is going to be Mariana Toscano, the senior from Springfield. That's coming up next. And then we will preview the night that is to be tonight on ysnlive.com. Don't go anywhere. Running Point always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Tuesday episode. It is January 7th. We will get to the comments section real quick before we go into our player profile from Shannon Wilkes. Met her last night at the Girard game. Love meeting you too. I love meeting all of our fans out there and the community members that support these student athletes the way they do. So I will be back in Girard very soon. I'll be back at a Girard game very soon. And can't wait to keep talking to you and seeing what these girls are able to do on the girls' side of Girard basketball. So thanks for tuning in, Shannon. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again real soon. Let's go into the player profile section of the show. We're going to feature one that we got earlier on this season. It's going to be a senior from Springfield, Mariana Toscano, someone that we've talked to quite a bit over her career, a very prosperous career. The senior class for Springfield, one of the more experienced senior classes in the area. And you could probably say the most when you talk about games they've played, because they've made 3 straight trips to regionals. And I believe 2 of those trips were to regional finals, 1 trip to the state semifinals. So they've played a lot of basketball, this senior class. So they're trying to gear up one more time. They have everything in front of them, even though they lost to Middle Ridge in the conference. They have 1 loss in the conference. And if they take care of business, they can go back to Middle Ridge the next time they meet. And that could be for the first place spot in the MVAC. So here is Mariana Toscano, senior for Springfield. Anthony Herwig here with another Springfield girls basketball player profile. We're joined for the 3rd consecutive year by Mariana Toscano. We've been talking to her for a while. It's her senior season. Mariana, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this senior season. What are some of the emotions that are going through your head and some of the things that you're kind of dealing with knowing that this is the last ride for Springfield?
Honestly, it doesn't feel any different, but like I know once like tournament run starts, it's definitely going to hit me because like any game could be the last. But right now I'm just trying to enjoy it.
You went through senior year for volleyball and you went through everything that senior year kind of brings for that. How much did going through that kind of help you manage those emotions a little bit better now in basketball?
It definitely helped me out because, I already got 1 cry down, which I'm not ready to I'm not ready to do it for basketball, but I mean, I'm just gonna keep playing.
This senior class that you're a part of has meant so much to this program, has taken Springfield girls basketball way past where it's been before you guys got there. What's this senior class mean to you? What's it mean to you to have 1 more year with the girls that are around you that are graduating with you?
Oh, it feels great. I've been playing with these girls since I was young, and we've all been a part of half the runs that we've done. So it's just we're definitely going to try to go do what we did before.
With all the tournament runs, I think it's safe to say that you guys have played more basketball than anybody else in the Ysn family when it comes to experience on the floor and the games that you guys have played. How much do you lean on that experience and being able to say, hey, we've made runs to the regionals, we've went to state? When you're going through a season, it's a long basketball season, you're going to have ups and downs. How much do you kind of stay focused on we can make tournament runs because we know how to do that?
Yeah, we definitely lean on it a lot because like we've been in close games before, and we're just going to keep using it so we keep pushing in every game.
Let's talk about senior leadership. You've been a leader statistically and emotionally on this team for a while, but now as a senior, you're just it goes up a little bit. You're asked a little bit more. What's it been like to be a senior leader so far this season?
I mean, I think I've been like having the role of a leader since like last year and like somewhat of sophomore year, even though we had really good leaders before. But I think this year we're just going to keep trying to help the younger girls out and just, yeah.
One of the things you're doing, of course, is trying to set the tone for the leaders of the future, the ones that are looking up to you saying, this is how we're going to lead. What kind of lessons are you trying to teach the younger kids on leadership so that when you graduate, there's not this big leadership void in the program?
Definitely just to go out and play your game. Like it's only a game. You're going to have fun and just try to win.
The last couple of years, we asked you what seemed inspirational to you that taught you how to lead. Now that you're a senior, I'm going to flip the question a little bit and say, who are some of the underclassmen that you're kind of taking under your wing that you're confident that when you graduate, they're going to step up and be leaders of the team?
Definitely. This year we have 2 juniors that are playing with us, Regner Jensky and Maren Binkler. They're definitely going to be very good leaders next year. They're very vocal. And then just the younger girls are going to learn from them.
When we interview them next year in their senior year and we ask, what kind of things they learned and they got away from being a teammate of Mariana, what do you hope their answer would be?
Honestly, I don't even know the answer to that question.
They'll know the answer. They'll know it. They'll know the answer when we get them. Let's talk about goals that you have for your senior season. What kind of things did you want to make sure that you accomplished before your time with the program is done?
I think first to get another league championship and definitely to try to win districts again. And like a goal for myself, I mean, just keep playing good.
I love that goal. It's simple and sweet, easy to remember. What are some of the things that you think that you've improved on? I mean, you keep getting better every year. What were some things that you focused on this year that you wanted to get even better at?
I remember last year I said I wanted to get better at ball handling, which I think I've gotten a little bit better, and then definitely driving to the hoop and trying to make my shot more consistent.
All right, let's talk about senior year in the classroom. Are you one of the seniors that we've talked to that has a lot of their hard classes taken care of the first 3 years,
Yeah.
and now you're kind of trying to coast a little bit through senior year? Have you set yourself up that way?
Yeah, I did.
What's that do for you as a basketball player to not have to worry as much about splitting time between all the hard schoolwork and basketball?
I think it's definitely helped me out because I can just like go to practice and then come home and then like not really have to worry about staying up late and doing a bunch of homework.
Now you're still in school, of course. So what are some classes that you're taking? What are some of those classes that you've set yourself up to be able to take this year?
Right now I'm taking Algebra 3, which they just added to our school, and then just College English and Spanish 4.
Awesome. So when you think about the future after you graduate, what are some things that, I think we've asked you this last year, but now the picture's a little bit more clear. So what are some things that are in the bucket for next year when you graduate Springfield?
I'm definitely going to college. I'm in between two majors, which are kind of like completely different. Either nursing or a business, because my grandpa runs a business and I'll probably work for him if I do that.
Is there one that you're leaning a little bit more towards?
No, it's still like 50-50 right now.
I love it. Have you made a decision on where you're going yet?
Probably YSU.
When you think about college and the next level, I mean, do you think about the things that excite you about, taking that next step? I mean, are you going to live on campus or are you going to stay home?
No, I'm probably just going to stay at home.
I like it. Don't get away from mom and dad's home cooked meals, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite? What are some of the reasons why you can't leave home? What are some of the things that make home feel like home to you?
Definitely just like I have like my siblings here and my mom. And
when you think about the things that Springfield has meant to you, you're going to be graduating, you're going to take that diploma, and you're going to reflect on all your time at Springfield. What are going to be some of the best memories and the best things that you take away from your time as a Tiger?
Definitely just spending time with my friends, and like since I've been a freshman, our football team's been like going on runs, and I'm just going to miss all of that.
And then I also want to talk about things that you're going to be proud of yourself for. I mean, you grabbed that diploma and you're going to reflect on all the things that you've accomplished. What are some things that you're going to be really proud of yourself for, whether it be in the classroom, on the court? What are some things that you think that you able to achieve that make you proud of yourself?
I'm definitely going to be proud of myself for graduating and just the way my high school career went.
Just grabbing that diploma is enough, right?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Let's talk about representing Springfield for one more year and what that means to you to be able to, put that orange and black on one more year, represent the community.
It feels good. Our school has a really good athletic program, so it just feels nice to be a part of it.
We have to get you to talk about your coaching staff one more time, too. I mean, Coach Matisse, again, is with you, and he's been with you since the start. So what's it been like, going through one more year with Coach Matisse and being able to learn even more from him?
The past 4 years, they've been amazing. I couldn't ask for any better coaches, and they've just taught me so much.
What are some things you're going to miss the most about being able to be coached by them after you're done?
I'm just going to miss the laughs that we had, some of the hard times that we've had, but I'm just going to miss them.
Yeah, I want to talk about also, you brought up hard times. I mean, everyone goes through a career. Everyone has some adversity that they go through. What do you think has been your biggest form of adversity so far in your career? And then talk about how you got through it, because you're obviously still playing well.
My biggest adversity, I think it's like whenever I have like bad games, like I can go through a slump for like 2 weeks, and then my coaches just get on me and they tell me like, just be yourself, like just be the Mariana that we know you are. And
do you think maybe a younger Mariana was having that a little bit more than you are now? And what were some things that made you be able to get through that a lot faster than maybe you used to?
My teammates definitely help me out a lot. Like whenever I'm down, they'll always help me get back up, and it's just.
When you think about the family at home, I want you to talk about them a little bit and why they mean so much to you and what makes them kind of unique in your eyes.
My mom, she's my biggest supporter. I mean, she has music blasting on game days. Like I told her about this interview and she's like trying to set up the whole table nice. I'm like, Mom, they're not gonna see anything. But and then my brothers, my oldest brother, he always gets on me for like school and especially sports. And then my little brother, he just loves watching me play.
You know what? We can't see it, but I'm sure everything looks great. You know, your mom probably did it all up very well. We have faith in your mom. So let's talk about, you know, when you think about things about. Oh geez, I just lost my train of thought talking about your table. Let's go to the Christmas questions. You have the benefit of having this interview during the Christmas season. We haven't hit Christmas yet, so let's ask the favorite Christmas movie. What's the favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, probably Elf.
And then what's their favorite Christmas song out there?
Oh, Mistletoe by Justin Bieber. I love that
That was
song.
too quick. Too quick. Boom, right there. Okay. And then what's the best gift that you think you've ever gotten as a Christmas present?
Oh, best gift I've ever gotten. It was more of an early like Christmas present, but my grandpa got me a car.
Can't beat that.
No.
Can't beat a brand new car. And then we're going to reverse that though. What do you think is the best gift you've ever given? You know, when you get a gift and you know you're excited about giving it because you know it's going to be special to the person you're giving it to. What do you think are one of those moments where you felt like you got a really good gift for somebody?
When I was younger, I got my grandma like this necklace and she had cancer. So I got her like the gem that like goes along with it, like the color. And it was just cute.
That's awesome. So what we do at the end of these interviews, you've been through them, you know it. We want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself, shine on the people in your life. I'm going to challenge you a little bit though, because you've been a part of a couple of them already. Make sure you give some shout outs to maybe some people that you haven't yet. Maybe hit some people that you don't think have gotten the love yet. So give some shout outs and give some thank yous before you get out of here.
All my senior class, my teammates, my coaches, my mom, my dad, my brothers, and just everybody.
Well, when you say everybody, that just blankets
exactly
a lot of people that haven't gotten the shout out yet. Everyone out there gets it. Mariana, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the senior season, and we can't wait to talk again real soon.
Thank you.
That was Mariana Toscano, the senior leader, one of the senior leaders, I should say. There are many of them. Very experienced Springfield girls basketball team. If you missed a little bit of that profile or want to see it in its entirety, that profile and a story can be found at ysnlive.com. It can also be found on our YouTube page. If you're watching this on our YouTube page, which is available, we hope that you subscribe to our channel. We would love it. It helps us in the YouTube algorithm. The more subscribers and likes and comments we get on our YouTube videos, the more YouTube likes us. You know, it's one of those things. It kind of gauges how much it's going to get your videos out there based on how many subscribers you're getting. So if you would feel so kindly to hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you are subscribed and you feel like you're missing some video content, don't forget to hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button so you never miss any of the videos that we put up on YouTube. We are updating that channel literally every day. Post-game interviews, player profiles, coaches' corners, game highlights, all that fun stuff. It all goes up on our YouTube page, so make sure you're out there and you're giving it all the attention that it deserves because you don't want to miss any of it. Let's go into the scoreboard, back into the scoreboard, I should say. Brought to you by Burnett Pool, Spas, and Hot Tubs, and talk about the games that will be going down tonight on ysnlive.com and inside the YSN family. It is, of course, January 7th, 2025. And here's what we got going on. We will start with girls basketball at the top. A small slate of games, in fact, 7 of them total, will be going down. Jackson Milton travels to McDonald for a 6:15 start there. We have Camel going to Middle Ridge. Brookfield goes to Southeast tonight. Liberty travels to LeBray. Crestview will be hosting Champion. Newton Falls will be at Garfield. And then last but not least, Western Reserve goes to Sebring tonight. So all these MVAC gray and scarlet tier games happening tonight, as the MVAC is still playing girls on Tuesday, Friday, boys on Monday, Thursday. That'll switch soon. It'll flip back to the normal. They're doing half and half. So I don't know the exact date, but it could be coming up here soon when they'll flip back to girls on Monday and Thursday, boys on Tuesday and Friday for the second half of the season. Boys basketball tonight, we have Carrollton going to West Branch. Hawken will be going to Orange tonight as the Lions try to stay hot. Speaking of Lions, we have another Lion on the network in Heartland Christian. They're welcoming in Lake Center Christian. Jefferson will be hosting Madison tonight. We have Salem going to Marlington. West Geauga will be traveling to Perry. Perry coming off that big win over Madison on Saturday. Akron Garfield will be at Louisville. Fitch hosting Canfield tonight. We have Chalker going to Maplewood. Cheney will be traveling to Niles. Columbiana goes to Wellsville. Edgewood will be on the road at Conneaut. Geneva goes to Lakeside. Girard will go to Struthers tonight. We have Grand Valley will be going to Bristol. Canton Hoover comes into town to take on Boardman. Howland goes to Warren Harding in AAC play. Lakeview making the trip to Poland. Latonia will be on the road at East Palestine. Matthews goes to Lordstown. Pymatuning Valley goes to Ashtabula St. John. We have Wyndham hosting Rootstown. South Range traveling to Hubbard. Southern will be going to United. We have Valley Christian at Lisbon. Warren JFK will be at Lowville. East will be at Ursuline in Steel Valley Conference play. Beaver Local will be hosting Ambridge. We have Beaver Falls at Mohawk. Beaver Local at Harrison Central. And then Indian Creek will be at East Liverpool tonight to round out the schedule. Let's get to the games that will be on the network and broadcasted and who will be out there on the mic for you. So we will start with boys basketball. Ty Bartel will be at Austintown Fitch for their conference matchup with Canfield coming to town. We have Dakota Kotzel. He'll be at Niles for their matchup with Cheney. Gary Altizer will be in Wellsville. That will be a doubleheader with the girls. So the girls basketball team will also be playing Columbiana. We have Steve Hodge will be at Ursuline for their matchup with East. We'll have WOW TV covering the Conneaut game at with Edgewood coming to town. Matthew McConaughey, all right. He'll have you covered with Bob Zaney at Struthers for their matchup with Girard. You have Hawken at Orange. Noah Ricks will have you covered for that one. We have Indian Creek and Beaver Local is red. Is that not happening, or are the announcers not going? Well, we'll check on that. The school will have you covered for Lakeview of Poland. DJ Yoakley will be at East Palestine for their matchup with Latonia. We have Madison at Jefferson covered with Scott Demos. Will be in Jefferson for that one. Sam Torres has you covered for St. John hosting Pymatuning Valley. Zach Swinson and Johnny Reyes will have you covered for South Range and Hubbard. Derek Rhodes will be at United for their matchup with Southern Local. Dom Pearson will be at Lisbon for their matchup with Valley Christian. Eric Hughes will have you there for Lowville and Warren JFK. Noah Doty is going to be at Beaver for their matchup with Ambridge. And Rob Johnson has you covered for Louisville hosting Akron Garfield. For girls basketball, we have one game on the network tonight. It'll be Jackson Milton and McDonald. Myself and Angelina Capabianco will be on the call for that one. And that will do it for the broadcast tonight. So let's count them up for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 games on the network tonight, all for free, for you, for your enjoyment. maybe if you were on the fence and it's cold and it's kind of snowy still, maybe you didn't want to go out there, you should. You should go out there and support these athletes. But if you can't, you got it on ysnlive.com. And one of the great things is if you're already at a game but you want to keep an eye on another one, we've seen a lot of people do this. Just flip open your phone, go to ysnlive.com/live, watch 2 games at once. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So 19 games on the network. It's a big night on the network. 18 boys games, 1 girls game. Oh, I should say 2 girls games. One's a doubleheader. So we will have Wellsville Columbiana girls covered too with Gary Altizer there at Wellsville. So it's going to be a fun Tuesday night. When we look at these matchups, because we have a little bit of time. It's a little bit too early to close right now at 1:47. I think we can go a little bit into some of these matchups, some of the things I'm excited for. Austintown Fitch and Canfield. Ty Bartell is going to be on that call. I've had a chance to see both these teams live this year. Fitch has a really good defense. They play extremely good defense. We saw them kind of hassle South Range, especially in the second half of that game, and shut down one of the best shooters in the area, Luke Rowan. But defending Canfield is a different animal because not only do they have one of, if not the best point guard in the area, you could argue Jalen Gunther, of course, nothing wrong with that, but Drew Shapiro. I think they have different skill sets that make them great. I think Drew Shapiro has really good just typical point guard skills when you talk about distributing the ball, running the offense. He can score when he has to, and that's definitely been proven. Jalen Gunther is more of a scoring point guard that definitely can dish it, definitely get his assist numbers, but he is an absolute threat when you talk about their offense. You cannot not guard Gunther at Ursuline. So they're both great. It's whatever kind of cup of tea of point guard you're into, but they're both awesome. But I think Drew Shapiro is definitely in that conversation. But then you have Ben Weaver. You have so many players on that team that too many to name that are just threats that have gotten in double figures at least once this year. China, double figures, right? So a lot to handle for this Fitch defense, but I think it's going to be a pretty lower scoring game with the defensive style that Fitch plays. They haven't scored as much as they want to of late. I think they're going to have to score more than 40, maybe more than 45. I would be shocked if this game isn't won in the low 50s at least. But it'll be lower scoring than most of your typical boys games still, I think. I'm looking forward to Perry staying hot. They got the big win over Madison over the weekend. Can Jefferson continue Madison's woes and get the win over the Blue Streaks at home? Any 8 matchups, we've been talking about the girls so much on the girls side, but the boys side also very interesting. Girard and Struthers in the Fieldhouse, Lakeview versus Poland, South Range versus Hubbard. South Range on the road. South Range has dealt with a couple of little instances of inconsistency this year where it hasn't really hurt them as far as the final score goes, but especially like you look at that Mooney game, right? Up big at halftime, and then Mooney closes it into a 1-point game before the third, and then the South Range that Coach Carden hopes always shows up again in the fourth quarter with a 25-point frame, wins that game easily. Can South Range just being consistent on the road is a big thing, right? You're dealing with a crowd that's rooting against you very hard. Hubbard has a great student section that is right in front of you because that gym, one of the only ones in the area that's set up to put the students behind the hoop. So they're right in your face when you're inbounding on the baseline. That's always hard to deal with. Can you stay consistent through that? But I believe that Hubbard will be without Braden Songer for the rest of the season. That is not a good sign for the Eagles. But, of course, they have plenty of players. Jacob Hayes, that can really beat you for Hubbard, too. So South Range will have to be consistent tonight. Warren JFK going to Lowville. That's a non-conference matchup for the Rockets, trying to really test themselves, and test themselves they will because JFK's offense, both boys and girls basketball, really hard to deal with. Ursuline trying to stay hot inside the conference. Ursuline just scored 101 points over the weekend. Like, good luck trying to defend that team. I don't know how to do it. I wouldn't want to coach against Ursuline, try to work up a game plan on how to slow them down. When they're rolling, they're rolling. And we'll see if they can one up that offensive performance they had over the weekend, scoring over 100. Doesn't happen a lot in high school basketball, at least not in our area. We haven't seen a lot of 100-point games on YSN. I think maybe a handful over the last 7 years that we've been on the network. So that'll be fun to see. Let's see. Is there anything else that looks really, really good tonight? It's Canton Hoover coming to Boardman. That'll be a fun non-conference one for the Spartans. Holland going to Warren Harding. Can they get a big win inside the conference for the Tigers? It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really good night. Really good night. We have a lot of basketball on the airways. Once again, reminder, ysnlive.com/live is where you can find it all. And we hope you enjoy the night. We hope you enjoy everything about it. Basketball is fun. So that'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We will see you all again tomorrow, Wrestling Wednesday with Gary Altizer. Scotty Mitchell will also be in the show as well, so you don't want to miss that. Our wrestling talks, we will recap the weekend that was. We'll preview the weekend that will be. We'll have a wrestler on live with you. We're going to keep that one a little bit of a secret till tomorrow, but we'll have someone alive on the show for you as well. So don't miss Running Point tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one with Gary Altizer, Scotty Mitchell, Wrestling Wednesdays, Season 4. You don't want to miss any of that. And until then, thank you so much again for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Running